All right, so there's three more points that I think we need to look at. So how do you destroy a community? Or in specific, let's talk about the black community in particular.
Okay.
So the destruction of the black community came in three stages. A lot of people don't really understand this or realize it, but it came in three stages. Step one, which we've talked about here in the Book of G, is infiltrate and turn the leadership inside the household against each other. So mother and father, they don't get along. Right. Father's not in the household now, he leaves. Mother doesn't respect the father, so they can't get along, so they're leaving. Kids are being ripped apart in the middle and perpetuating these new stereotypes and these new ways of living as they grow up and have their own kids, right? So that's step one, right? And then step two, sell blacks on the American dream. Have them chasing something, spending so much time chasing something that they're never going to catch, which is like the mouse chasing the cheese or the hamster in the hamster wheel. Right. You're never going anywhere, even though you're working as hard as you possibly can. And then when all of that failed, right, because this has been the attack for years, but when all of that failed, what did we have? We had a place that we could go to when the husband and wife was having problems and sit down and repair themselves and go back in the household and run it properly. When people were down because they were financially strained, because they were chasing this American dream and they were trying to figure it out and they were losing hope. Because if you give up hope, you've lost, right? You had a place that you could go to, rebuild yourself, replenish yourself, sharpen the saw, as Stephen Covey says, and then go back and get back on the grind. So what is the third and most important step of taking apart the black community? Well, it's corrupt and destroy your belief structure and disempower the place where people congregate. Because once you eliminate people's ability to come together, you actually grow people's ability to not trust each other. So when we look at black people in the community and say, well, we don't even trust each other, we don't get along with each other, we don't talk to each other, we ain't got no place to go where we can trust each other. Right. So you take those three steps, and it really is, like we say, it's chess, not checkers. It's a brilliant tactic to ensure that not only am I going to take you apart, but this way I'm going to make sure you stay apart.
One thing that churches can do in order to make things better, again, we are spending a lot of money. And that's what we gonna do. And some of y'all is spending some extra money. But I ain't gonna call it out again. But a collective direction in where not to spend your money. I can't stress that enough. A collective direction in where not to spend your money on things that are not supporting the community as a whole. I just believe that that area is so undervalued within the best PA system that we have to show it, and that's our church. That's our black church. To garner these directives, Occupy is definitely a movement, but we've been occupying something that is so powerful for so long that we've got to join with some of those folks and make that direction a positive note for us, for we know not to support Wall Street with our church dollars, but to support ourselves.
I like that. Well, I'm big on numbers. I think numbers trump dollars. And I think church is the one place that you can get numbers beyond numbers beyond numbers. The mob goes to church. Gangsters go to church. You know what I'm saying? Drug addicts, drug dealers go to church. Who doesn't go? Politicians go to church. So the opportunity to pool numbers and bring people together and have a discussion and figure out what direction is going to be best for the community in which they serve. Serve is the key point. Because, the biggest problem right now that's happening in this country with churches is the Great Divide. At 11 o'clock, you got various groups of people sitting in various buildings discussing various things and not talking to each other. It's time for pastors to humble themselves, which they're already supposed to be as pastors. Talk to other pastors in churches. Create programs to where maybe your church goes to another church, and it doesn't necessarily have to be of your denomination.
Right.
Like you go to another church and you guys at that day, you have a discussion about the community. You know, where you guys, maybe you just do a huge gospel fest, rent out an auditorium, and you invite as many churches as you can, and you guys talk about the community. You talk about things that are up and coming. You talk about things that's going to impact the community, because it's the people that make the church live. If the people aren't living, if the people aren't thriving, if the people aren't surviving, then how is the church going to make it? Right? So it's time for some humility. It's time for pastors to care, you know, about their people and not just the people that are sitting in their church. But okay, so do you got a final thought? Let's polish this thing off.
Okay. If the term organized religion is a lot of what we are addressing because of that very first word, organize. In organization, there comes vision. And with a vision and organization together, then we start to build a team that can do just about anything. And our people, our black community, is the one that needs it the most, okay? There is no other better example of being a collective people than Sunday morning if we view it in its entirety. So get past your pulpit, get past your choir, get past your youth group, and let's get back to our people. And with that, I think we can make some real damage in our society today. G. Williams.
All right. I'm gonna go with the Bible verse. I don't have it memorized, so I'm gonna read it. So Timothy 6:10, you know, for the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from their faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. The black church has turned its focus away from their efforts that they're supposed to focus on the community and focus on expansion and financial growth. Tavis Smiley says, and I love this, you cannot save people if you don't serve people. And you cannot lead people if you don't love people. This verse, the key to it is the love of money is the root of all evil. It's not money itself. It's the love of money and the action that drives that love. It's time for the church to serve the people and love the people, and, you know, take the money and focus more than what's going in the collection plate and what's in the hearts of people. And this is not just for black churches. This is for all churches. You know, if we have a race problem in America, or we have a prejudice problem, or a finance problem, or a poor person's problem, or a prejudicial problem, or a class problem in America, my question is, what are black churches saying into their community on Sunday morning? What are Hispanic churches saying to their community on Sunday morning? What are white churches, white pastors saying to their community on Sunday morning? And my thing is, why aren't we all sitting down talking to each other? Because you can't all say you love Christ and condone or sit by and watch anything that is un-Christ-like. G. Lewis, yeah.
Wow. Again, we can't answer it all. We speak in no absolutes, but if we said anything that strikes a nerve here today, start the dialogue. Hit that comment button. Hit that share button. Let's get a conversation going where, because we are a church without walls right here.
Right.
You know, we ain't got to answer to nobody in this. And so let's start the dialogue. And you, hey you, Jew, hey you, Kojic, hey you, Muslim, talk, okay? So we can start this dialogue and cure some of the ills that are going on in our society today. All right, so with that said, we're the Book of G, and we'll see you on the next one.
Let's begin now. 360.
I woke up this morning, and
And I said, you know, instead of waiting for a good day to happen, you know, waiting around through ups and downs, you know, I just said, look,